This topic, guys, is very interesting. So generally we want to know if the person that we are interested in, whether they are ready for a relationship or not. But today's topic is slightly more interesting because it's about you, whether you yourself, are you ready for a relationship. So today, in today's video, we'll be talking about the signs whether you are ready for a relationship or not. Okay, because when we don't take time to reflect on these things, when we don't contemplate on these things, we rush in for a relationship, we rush in for a romantic relationship, a marriage. And that kind of rush can lead to poor choices. It can have mismatch of expectations and unnecessary drama, unnecessary heartbreak. So all of these things can happen. So it's very important to know whether you are in the energy of allowing love, of allowing a relationship. Okay, so the number one sign which says that you are not ready to be in a relationship is having unrealistic expectations. Okay, so generally I see people who have been single for a very long time, and they are craving for a relationship. So they have a certain idea that maybe a relationship is fun, it's exciting, it's like this and it's like that. So they hype it in their mind so much, the idea of how an ideal relationship should look like, that when they actually get into a relationship, they get into it with the mindset of expecting their partner to bring them unlimited happiness or endless happiness all the time. Okay, and when they see that that's not the reality of how a relationship is, they actually start finding the relationship very boring. So after the initial phase of getting to know each other, all of that is over, they start to find that there's no spark in this relationship. I'm not feeling excited. I'm not feeling happy. So there is no high that they are experiencing in the relationship. So our partner cannot be the source of endless happiness, and they cannot provide that to you. So life has dynamic experiences. So if we only want to deny the negative and accept the positive side or the happy side, that's not a realistic expectation from life itself. So when we go into a relationship with this mind frame, then it's not a very practical expectation to have. So life, there could be change in circumstances in our life. The way that it is today, it's not always going to be the same. And whenever there is a change in circumstance, that will create change in roles. Your partner may now expect you to step up in order to support them. There could be change of cities, there could be some family member falling sick or your partner falling sick. So a lot of things can happen when you are in a relationship. So having fair expectations is very important. So if you are somebody who has this very dreamy idea of how a relationship should be, that's a very good sign that you're truly not ready for a relationship. Again, when we talk about having unexpected expectations, it's also about having expectations that your partner should agree with you all the time. So let's say, even in a very loving friendship, say you are with a partner who is your very good friend. So even in the loving friendship, 8 out of 10 times there are chances that your partner will agree with you. Still, there is always that 2 out of 10 times where your partner may not really conform to your perspectives, your idea, or agree with you. Correct? So in your friendships, in your social circle, if you notice that you are somebody who seeks excessive reassurance from people about your decision, about your choices, you're seeking external validation all the time, and you only feel calm when somebody validates you all the time, then again that's a very good sign that your need for external validation is so much that even when you bring in a partner, you're likely to put that pressure on the partnership, and that is going to strain the relationship. Okay, so these are all the areas how unexpected relationships, unexpected expectations, they can actually hamper a relationship. So it's very important to not have this, especially when you're going in for a romantic partnership. Okay, Now the next sign, a very very important part, is the flexibility side of it. Okay, so if you are somebody and change is very difficult for you, change is very painful for you, okay, then you're not ready for a relationship. So when you're somebody's partner, it requires you to be flexible. If you're very fixed in your ways, if you're having a very rigid mindset, a very rigid lifestyle, a very rigid diet, and there is no way to allow another person to bring in their tastes, their choices, then it's not fair for the other person also. Okay, so then you have to reflect before dating if you really want to be in a relationship. So if you are somebody who always tends to prioritize your own comfort, your own needs, your own choices, okay, then you're not truly ready for a relationship. Because relationships, it requires a lot of empathy. It requires you to step outside of your comfort zone, to step outside of, whatever is important for you, and also try to understand how is the other person feeling, what is important to them, what is it that makes them feel special. So all of these things are necessary to be in a healthy relationship. So flexibility, if you are not very flexible in your lifestyle, then it's going to be very difficult to accommodate another person in your life. And again, that is going to create a lot of conflict in the relationship if you ever plan to get into one. Okay, so this is with regard to flexibility. Now, when we talk about being flexible, there's also another important part of it, which is about flexibility with your freedom. Okay. Now, a lot of people who have been single for a very very long time, they value their independence so much that now they feel that if I invite another person into my life to be my partner, then I will have to compromise a lot on my freedom. So the very idea makes them feel that yes, I don't want to be in a relationship, because they are viewing relationship as something which is going to snatch away their freedom. So although you're talking about freedom, but again in many ways it talks about your flexibility muscle, that you're not very flexible with allowing another person into your life, into your experiences. So again, there is no spirit of team here. It's still about me and mine. So this again indicates that you're being very rigid. So generally in a romantic partnership, it's all about valuing commitment. You will be required to share your goals, your plans, in some way consult with your partner. It's not about taking permission, but it's about consulting with your partner before making important choices, important decisions. And if you view the setup of a relationship as something that is going to choke your freedom, that is going to make you feel very suffocated, then you're not truly ready for a relationship. Although you may say that you desire a relationship, that yes, I need a partner in my life. But if you view it as that it's going to come at the cost of my comfort, it's going to come at the cost of my freedom, then you still need to, work in this area before you start dating. So this is another important aspect. So we have covered two things. One is the whether you're flexible enough, and having unrealistic expectation. Okay, now another important part is that people are not ready for a relationship. A very good sign is always operating from the place of fear. Okay, so a lot of people tend to view relationships, view marriages as something that if I get into this, then I'm trapped for a lifetime. It's almost like I can't come out of it. Okay, so when we operate from that mind frame, that this is how a relationship works, okay, then what happens is that you may actually tend to pull a partner, attract a partner only to reject them. So you will always find yourself in this push and pull dynamics where you pull somebody and then you reject that person. So this is also a very a good sign that you are operating from an avoidant attachment style, where you like the person, maybe you are attracted to their personality, but when things start to get a little serious, when you start to get them, when you start to know them a little more deeper, that's when you want to run away, you want to avoid contact, you want to have some sort of a distance between the two of you. So that is going to block intimacy, that is going to block honesty. And if you're not comfortable with all of these things, then you fear commitment, which is the basis of any healthy relationship. Okay, so you are attracted to the idea of a relationship, but you're not truly ready for a relationship. So again, it's time for you to reflect on that one. Now, the next sign that you're not ready for a relationship is if you have not worked enough on your communication style. Okay, so any relationship, it thrives on good communication and healthy communication. So if you are somebody who cannot handle conflict, if you are somebody who has a very aggressive style of responding to arguments, of responding to conflict, or you want to shut down, you want to isolate yourself, withdraw, completely avoid a discussion or a disagreement. Okay, so that means that you're not ready for any kind of conflict resolution. You're not ready to talk it out, you're not ready to sort it out. And a relationship will have differing views, differing opinions. It's a given. So this skill of navigating conflicts, conflict resolution, it's a very important skill. In fact, not just in romantic relationships, in any relationships. So if you find yourself that you have this difficulty, you lash out at your friends, maybe at home, at your relatives, all of these things can actually make it very difficult for you to be in a romantic partnership. Okay, so also your emotional reaction also plays a very important role. If you have, say, frequent mood swings, you have intense emotional reactions to even maybe small things in life, you had a bad day at work and that upsets you so much, so you have difficulty managing your stress. So this can put a very big strain on a romantic relationship. So ultimately, if you are not able to feel emotionally stable yourself, you won't be able to bring in that value to the relationship, and that is going to create a lot of trouble even for the other person to understand you when there is a communication gap. So if you have not worked enough on your style of communication, especially when you are stressed, or especially when you want to say something upsets you, then it's an indication that it's time to sort out these things before you get into dating, before you start considering proposals. If you're looking to get married, these are the areas that you need to work on. Okay, so far we have covered few points. We have covered points on flexibility, we have covered points on communication style, we have covered points on having unrealistic expectations. So these are all the important points that we have seen so far. Okay, now another important point which may trigger a lot of you here, so much that you may want to just leave this video and go away, right? That point is not being open to receiving feedback. Okay, because feedback can reveal a lot of flaws which we may ourselves have overlooked in the way that we talk, in our personality, in the way that we do things. Okay, so when we live in a romantic partnership, or when we are with a partner, it's a very intimate relationship, and they will tend to give you feedback on the way that you react, on the way that you approach things, on the kind of opinions and perspectives that you have. And if you are somebody who is not very good at handling feedback, you get very defensive, you start arguing, or you shut them down completely, then that is an area that you need to work on before you get into relationships. Because receiving feedback, giving feedback, this is like the backbone of any relationship. So this is when two people, they can bond better, they understand each other better. So if you are somebody, you can't remember the last time you had an honest conversation about say your weakness, or about something wrong that you did, about a mistake of yours, you have difficulty acknowledging it, admitting it, then you're not ready for a relationship. Okay, so being emotionally open, this is the foundation of any connection. And beyond the stage of attraction, it is these things that is going to make a relationship strong. Attraction is just that initial, phase. And when the attraction starts fizzling out, it is these things that actually build trust. So when you're open to feedback, the other person actually starts trusting you, your actions, and that is how a solid, relationship gets built, on the basis of how you respond to feedback. So it can be very triggering initially when somebody is giving you feedback that you don't agree with, but that is the muscle that you have to build, of taking a pause, reflecting on what is it that they are saying, and then trying to understand and come up with a win-win situation. So if you are somebody who has this pattern of shutting down while receiving feedback, then this is something that you need to work on. Okay. Now, the next aspect is not knowing what you want. So a lot of people are out there trying to find a partner. They are out there trying to find matches, trying to be in the dating world, having no idea what they're looking for, having no idea what they want. So they see around them that other people are having, partners. So they see couples all around them, and now they are in this void that ये चीज मेरे पास क्यों नहीं है? Why don't I have this? What everybody is having? So it's like going to a restaurant and you have absolutely no clue on what you want to eat. So you keep looking around, in the surrounding tables, and you tell the waiter that I'll have what she's having, I'll have what he has ordered. But that's not how you choose a partner. That's not how you say that, okay, this person married somebody with this degree, with this net worth, or whatever it is. So I would also like to go in for a partner like that. That's not how matchmaking works, or that's not how dating works. So you need to understand yourself first. What is it that you are looking for? So stepping into the dating world without having any clear intentions, without knowing what you want, is going to make it very confusing for you. What you will eventually end up doing is that you'll keep jumping from one partner to another partner, every time having complaints that, no, this was not what I was looking for. Fine, but what is it that you are looking for? So get clear with that first, okay? And to do that, you have to chalk it down. You have to sit with yourself and understand, what are the beliefs that I have? What are the values? What are my core values? What are the deal breakers? That if this thing happens in a relationship, then I'm not okay with it. I'm not comfortable with it. What are, say, your non-negotiables? So if you have been in a relationship before, reflect on your past experiences and make this list. What are my non-negotiables? What I'm not okay with? What are my core beliefs? What are my values? And if you have never been in a relationship, try to get some insights from your other friendships. What are things that people have done which you are not okay with? So it's very important. So a lot of people tend to mistake this as, I go with the flow. That, oh, I'm a person who goes with the flow. Okay. But then going with the flow without knowing what kind of partnership are you looking for, it can actually create a lot of confusion. Okay. It can create a lot of confusion, again create a lot of drama. So you have to understand what is it that you're looking for. Okay. So another important sign that you are not ready for a relationship is, now this one is a little tricky. Okay. It's that you have too much to do. Okay. Too many priorities. You want to do this and that, and you have a big list of things that you want to do. Okay. So you have basically too much on your plate, and that kind of having too much on your plate, okay, that over the period of time can create mental exhaustion. Okay, and that mental exhaustion can become very overwhelming. Now I'm not saying don't be ambitious, don't make big plans for yourself, or don't progress, don't have career goals or say fitness goals. All of it is fine. So it's all about, whether you have space to allow another person into your life. Or say if you like a person and that person wants to be a part of your life and you desire that person to be a part of your life, whether you have the bandwidth for it, whether you have time and energy because it is going to require efforts from your side as well. Okay, so again, it's not about that, just have a laid back attitude and don't pursue anything in life. It's more about that when somebody comes along, will I be able to put in efforts and accommodate them, their needs, their desires. And if you operate from this attitude that right now I don't have anybody in my life, let somebody come along and then I'll cut down on all the activities that I'm doing. So right now, because I don't have a partner, so therefore I'll engage myself in this and this and this, and I'll invest my time in a lot of things. When I eventually have a partner, then I'm going to cut down on different things. So again, coming back to the one of the first pointers that we discussed, this shows that you're not very good with flexibility. Okay, because if you wait for a partner to come into your life and then you will start working around your schedule and your priorities and your to-do list, all of these things, there's a very good chance that you will end up feeling frustrated and you will end up blaming your partner that, what, I had so many things to do, I had so many desires and so many wishes, and because you came into my life, because I started a relationship with you, therefore I couldn't do this and this and this, and so many things are undone, say by the end of the month or by the end of the year. So relationships require effort, it requires time also. Okay, so if you have too much on your plate, then make some time to sort that out before you start dating, before you start giving time into a relationship, because then it's going to create a lot of confusion for the other person as well, that are you really interested or are you not. Okay, so if you have too many priorities, too many things to do, it's time to pause and sort that out first before you venture out dating again. Okay, now one of the last things that I wanted to discuss, we have around 7 to 8 more minutes roughly. This one is a very important one, that's why I left it for the end. Okay, this sign is more I would say psychological. Okay, this reflects more about your emotional state, and that is not feeling worthy enough to be in a relationship. Okay, so every time somebody approaches you or every time you want to approach somebody, but at the back of your mind, if you have this thought, why would a woman even want to be with me? Okay, or for a woman, so if you have this thought, why would a man choose me, why would a man choose a partner like me? So this is an indicator that somewhere in your mind, okay, you are feeling that I'm not worthy of being in a loving relationship. Now, this could arise from a lot of issues. You may be struggling with a very low self-esteem. Okay, this could be due to a certain notion of the societal status that you have. It could be because you feel you're lagging behind others in professional growth or in career growth. You could feel that maybe I'm not financially well settled right now, maybe I'm not financially stable right now, so how do I go in for a romantic relationship right now? Now you have to understand if all of these things are really true, or is this just a defense mechanism to avoid getting into a relationship. Okay, so if you're just beating down yourself that I'm not this and that and therefore I should avoid a relationship, it means that you don't feel worthy enough to be in a relationship. You don't feel worthy to share your life with a partner. Okay, so if you keep, then there are two things that could happen. Either all your life you will beat down yourself, and even when somebody approaches you, you will never open your heart to them. Okay, so you'll keep avoiding anything that starts getting serious. You'll keep running away. Okay, another thing is that you start telling yourself that, okay, when I achieve this, then I'll maybe start a relationship. Say if you have a house and you don't have a car, okay, when I buy a car, maybe that time is when I should start a relationship. So that is an indicator that you as a person, you value yourself only when you achieve something. Okay, so again, this is an indicator of not having a very good self-worth. So if you don't feel worthy enough within yourself, then you're not likely to attract a healthy relationship. So this is where you need to put in some time, reflect and work on these things and address these things. Okay, so I hope that you guys got a fair idea of signs where we are not ready to be in a relationship. Now, whatever I discussed, okay, the last say 20-25 minutes, this was not to discourage you from, starting a relationship or being in a relationship. These signs are not about discouraging you. It's about encouraging you to take some time out and do some self-reflection whether any of these points are blocking you from attracting the love of your life, okay? Because relationships are fulfilling when both the partners are aware, when both the partners have the same intention of commitment, and both the partners are confident on who they are and what they want. So focus on your growth, heal your past wounds if you have any from your previous romantic relationships, and try to build that sense of worth, okay? So your future relationships will be beautiful if you avoid all these things and you work on yourself. So that was it, guys, from my end. I hope that you guys got some idea about signs wherein you are not ready for a relationship. Thank you all for joining in. So I logged in from Mangalore today and it is heavily raining, so I wanted to cancel it the last minute, but then I just thought, let me just go in for it, hoping that there will be no power cut. And yes, thankfully it was not there. Thank you everybody for joining. So next week we are going to meet on Google Meet. So Tarunji is going to host a session. So please join that. Thank you everybody.